Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth. I'm your host, the Game Master. And before we get into today's episode, smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and leave us a comment. That helps us out with the YouTube algorithm, but also we love hearing from you guys. We've got an awesome community here, and it's all thanks to you. So, thank you so much for being here. So, having said all of that, let's get into it. The prologue to today's story begins in a small town in Mexico where there's a new hero named the Jade Jaguar, whose secret identity is Luis Lopez, as in Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Anyways, so Jade Jaguar stops a crime, and the people in this little town record him on their cell phones. Keanu Brooks played the Jade Jaguar, and we made the character using third edition GURPS Supers. And we gave him powers like Body of Stone, Stone Missile, and Matter Surfing. And all of these things represented the idea that the hero can turn his flesh into jade. He can shoot razor sharp pieces of jade at his opponents. And he can even create slides made out of jade so that he can use them to travel around on, sort of like the ice slides that Iceman can make. People record him on their cell phones, and he seems to enjoy the attention for a hot second before four villains walk out of a local cantina. The first is Aim Flame, who is an ordinary sized guy with fire powers and the sharpshooter advantage, which means he doesn't actually have to roll to hit. He just declares that he hits. So he's like a mashup of Marvel's Pyro and Bullseye. Next is Ice Heart, who is also human sized, but he has various ice powers. He's sort of like an evil version of Iceman. Next is Iceberg, who is also a lot like Iceman, but he's the size of the Incredible Hulk. So, in addition to ice powers, he also has super strength and is tough enough he could go toe to toe with a hero like Colossus. Finally, there is Magma, who has a body of lava. He too is Hulk sized and has super strength. These four villains are classic enemies of the original Continuum team. And the last time we saw them, they worked for a villain named Barracuda. Barracuda is the son of an alien named Barada, who was created by Jay Mora. Barada was ripped off from an old Dolph Lundgren movie called I Come in Peace, which was about an alien narcotics trafficker harvesting humans as raw materials for a cosmic drug trade. He'd teamed up with another supervillain named Shard, who had regeneration, regrowth, resurrection, etc. And at one point, those two were laying low at Shard's place, where Shard's sister also lived. And Barada got her pregnant in the 90s. That baby grew up to be the villain that we now call Barracuda. And if that wasn't confusing enough, at one point, another classic villain named Todd Roquet, who was a powerful ancient vampire, bit Barracuda, making him kind of a mixture of all of the Continuum's most overlooked enemies. And because of that, Barracuda has actually become one of the better known villains and one of the most powerful and hard to deal with. We haven't seen him, though, for about 10 years. And when last we saw him, he was the owner of the Barracuda Club, where he and his vampire minions were feeding on attractive female club goers. My wife played a character named Lightspeed who got wind of this and tried to deal with the villains, but there was a massive battle that ended in what was more or less a draw. Those heroes had to limp away and heal, and Barracuda himself hasn't been seen since then. It's also worth mentioning that my players figured out really quickly what was going on here was that somehow there was a new Barracuda club and they'd figured out how to copy the famous bar door of the Continuum Bar and Grill. I was hoping that was going to be a big reveal at the end of the adventure, but somehow my players just knew it right away. So I gave them some extra hero points for being so on the ball. Anyway, so the fact that Jade Jaguar has Body of Stone already appeals to Barracuda, who has previously hired a bunch of henchmen with elemental powers. But the fact that it's not just any stone, but something as valuable as jade, and this guy can just make jade at will, makes him an even bigger target for acquisition. So these four elemental villains walk out of the local bar to nab Jade Jaguar. Aimflame is in front, and as he walks towards the hero, he flicks a cigarette at a kid whom Jade tries to stand up for. Magma, who's been a villain for 35 years now and who has been leveling up the entire time, then knocks out the Jade Jaguar with one punch. An iceberg slings him over his shoulder. This is all recorded by a growing crowd on the street, which brings us to the main plot of today's game session. So at the Continuum Bar and Grill, Powerhouse 2, Friction, Vortex, and Water Bear see the video coming in from cell phones in Mexico. When they see classic Continuum villains enter the scene, they decide to use their bar door to intercede. Vortex is the first to arrive, and he shoots a bolt of lightning at Iceberg, which deals moderate amounts of damage to him and sends bolts through Jade Jaguar. Next to arrive on the scene is Powerhouse 2, who deals a powerful laser kick to Magma, getting his foot stuck in what once resembled Magma's face. Water Bear, who is finishing her shot at the bar, transforms to Krynos with a mighty roar, sidesteps through the door, and sends a powerful jet of water towards Magma, turning much of his exterior into stone. This also caused Powerhouse's foot to be temporarily stuck inside of Magma's now stone body. Last to arrive on the scene is Friction, who engages Aimflame, throwing a fire extinguisher from the bar at his feet and then puncturing it with a blast. The flame retardant foam itself has a minimal effect on the target, but the shrapnel stuns Aimflame for a round. Using altered time rate, Friction quickly rushes the child Aimflame harassed earlier to a safe distance. Iceberg then leaves the scene as he quickly vanishes through the bar door to a location unknown. Iceheart then misses a shot at Friction, who has a heightened dodge due to matter surfing. Vortex chases after Iceberg, but to no avail, as he does not know the location chosen by Iceberg and, as such, cannot follow. He turns around and then he shoots lightning at Iceheart, but misses, striking the door jamb of the cantina instead, knocking out the televisions over the bar, much to the displeasure of the local bargoers. Powerhouse 2 then kicks Magma at Iceheart, breaking free of the stone and dealing damage to Iceheart. Both of them take extra damage as a result of their fire and ice coming into contact with each other. Friction tries to cut Aimflame's Achilles tendon with a shuriken that she kept from an earlier adventure in order to further remove him from combat. But the shuriken is poorly equipped for this, so she lodges it in him and rolls only 1 point of damage. Magma shatters the stone and convulses while generating more magma to replace his lost tissue. Iceheart freezes the ground of the town square, making it more slippery for the heroes to move around on. Aimflame struggles to his feet and launches a blast of fire at Water Bear, but much to his chagrin, Water Bear is actually immune to heat-based attacks. Vortex, using a trick from his father, opens a portal behind Aimflame and sends an arc of electricity through. This surprise attack launches Aimflame onto the hood of a nearby Jeep. Water Bear sprays Magma with more water, turning his form to stone, and when he falls, he lands on the now iced over ground. The more she sprays him with water, the more it seems to turn him into a statue. Friction grabs Aimflame by his head and attempts to slam his face into the hood of the Jeep. Powerhouse attempts to grapple Aimflame as well, but fails. Aimflame, enraged by Friction, draws a Desert Eagle 50 and fires it at her head. Friction fails all 4 of her dodge rolls, as a 6 or lower must be rolled on 3d6, and as such, she takes aggravated damage to her skull. Vortex, thinking quickly, takes the incapacitated Friction back to the CB&G, where she is healed by BioGirl, the biological daughter of another old player named Dave Eckelberger. Powerhouse successfully grapples Aimflame and flies away with him. Aimflame struggles between Powerhouse's super strength and how high up they are now. Aimflame doesn't have a lot of options. Once they are out of public view, Powerhouse threatens the villain. During this, Aimflame attempts to shoot Powerhouse, who is impervious to all physical damage, and the bullet ricochets back into Aimflame, but hardly does any damage. Because, again, all 4 villains have been doing this for 35 years, so they've all leveled up and they've all gotten to be pretty tough. Anyways, so Powerhouse threatens to kill Aimflame if he doesn't reveal where Iceberg went and what their plans with Jade Jaguar were. And Powerhouse actually rolls a critical success. So Aimflame yields, informing Powerhouse that they are working for Barracuda, who has been gathering elementals for his plan, and of the club to which Jade Jaguar was taken. Aimflame then begs for his life, pleading that he offered all that he knew. So Powerhouse 2 knocks him out with a punch and returns to Water Bear with Aimflame in tow. Which brings us to the epilogue. By the time Powerhouse and Water Bear return to the CB&G, BioGirl has finished healing Friction. BioGirl's dad, like we said, was Dave Eckelberger, and Dave used to be one of the Green Lanterns that Powerhouse's dad had trained about 25 years ago. And at one point in that campaign, those rookie Green Lanterns were playing around with the omni power of their power rings. They subbed it for the mutation power and tried to give themselves biological superpowers. The idea was that for the most part, they sucked at being Green Lanterns, and out of game, the players wanted to take things in a different direction. They still wanted to play themselves, but they knew the ring thing wasn't really working out. So they rolled up random powers using the Ultimate Powers book from TSR's old Marvel Superheroes RPG. Dave rolled up biophysical control, biovampirism, body transformation others, grafting, neural manipulation, plague carrier, sense alteration, and shape change others. I suggested that he use the name Bioman, which I took from an old 1984 Super Sentai TV series called Super Electronic Bioman, or Chow Denshi Bioman. As a kid, we'd gone to Disney World and they had Bioman toys for sale. So my mom bought me some. And I just have always held that as a fond childhood memory. So that's why I had suggested it to Dave to use as a name. Unfortunately, there was an adventure where the Lanterns went to the center of the multiverse, met their evil twins, etc., which is ironic since we've been dealing with a lot of those same concepts very recently. And at the end of that adventure, we said that Dave's character had been stranded in limbo. A few years after that, we said that before Dave went MIA, he'd hooked up with a hot girl who in turn had gotten pregnant, and that daughter is the hero now known as BioGirl. She's made some appearances here and there in the game, but we've never really done much with her. Anyway, she was extremely useful in this adventure, not only helping heal the physical damage done to Friction, but some of the mental aspects as well. The heroes then all take a beat to talk about the Barracuda Club and how they seem to have their own bar door, and they work out a plan of attack to go get Jade Jaguar back. And we decided that would be a good stopping point. Um, we really enjoyed this one. We felt like this was kind of a return to form after some recent games that hadn't gone as well. Hopefully, you guys also enjoyed this one. If so, and if you would like to support our small little channel, it would really help us out if you were to hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed because YouTube loves to unsubscribe you and not tell you. And last but not least, leave a comment. The more you comment on these videos, it certainly would appear to draw attention to the channel. I think commenting is probably the most helpful of all of the things you could do. But yeah, that's it for us. So from everybody here at the longest running superhero role-playing game on Earth, we hope you guys have a good one, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.